Welcome to English class. I'm Rekanjali. Today I will teach you the fourth poem, Lock-in War. Lock-in War is the name of the soldier, gallant soldier. Gallant means very brave soldier. So this poem is a very big poem and with the classical English, not ordinary English. Classical English. In Kannada they will say Hale Gannada. You have learnt, in 10th standard, 9th standard, Hale Gannada. You know, like this is classical English. Now this Lock-in War, it is in the form of a ballad. Now first I will teach you what is ballad. A ballad is a form of poetry which can be put to line. One of the main features of a ballad is its musical quality, repetition of words and lines, a lovely rhythm and its rhyme scheme. Lochinvar, the poem written by Sir Walter Scott, has all these features because it is indeed a ballad. Now, next, I would like to introduce about the author. Now, Walter Scott, in full, Sir Walter Scott, first Baronet, born on August 15th, 1771, Edinburgh, Scotland. He died in the year at the age, he died September 21st, 1832, Abbotsford, Roxburgh, Scotland. Scottish novelist, poet, historian, and biographer who is often considered both the inventor and the greatest practitioner of the historical novel. Now, children, this is about a, you know, love story, love poem. Now, you will be very interested, I think. Now, characters before that, I will read out. Lock-in War. So many characters are there. Lock-in War, knight. Knight means what? Gallant or brave soldier. A young, handsome man. Ellen, Ellen, Ellen. She's a girl, beautiful girl, who is in love with young Lochinvar. Now, bridegroom in marriage hall. That is, marriage took place in the Netherby hall. Now, next, Ellen's father and mother. Next, Ellen's cousins, all girls who are all assembled in the marriage hall, and her relatives. Lochinvar is in the army in Scotland. Ellen's marriage is taking place in England, that is neighboring countries. Scotland and England, only one border will be there. Now India and Pakistan is like that border, one small border there only, very close neighboring countries. There is a river in between Scotland and England called Esk River. Eske, Esk River. If they ask you what is Esk means, that is a river. In this poem, 8 stanzas are there. I will explain stanza wise, children. Now you will understand. Now, first I'll read. This is classical English, I said. Oh, young Lochinvar is come out of the west. Through all the wide border, he steed was the best, and save his good broadsword, he weapons had none. He rode all unarmed and he rode all alone. So faithful in love and so dauntless in war, there never was knight like the young Lochinvar. Now I'll explain. Lochinvar was a brave knight of Scotland. He rode to Netherby Hall as Ellen, the girl he loved, was getting married there to another boy. He was extremely brave and faithful in love and unafraid to fight. He rode on horse without any weapon, So brave he was. Now, first stanza is over. Second stanza. He stayed not for brake, and he stopped not for stone. He swam the Esk river, where ford there was none. But here he alighted at Netherby gate. The bride had consented, the gallant came late. For a laggard in love and a dastard in war was to wed the fair Ellen of brave Lochinvar. Lochinvar was, now I explain, Lochinvar was in a hurry to reach Netherby Hall because he wanted to stop the wedding of his love Ellen, and she is getting married to some other boy. He rode so swiftly on his steed. Steed means horse. And no obstacles like bushes or stones slowed down his speed. When he had to cross the river, he saw that there was no ford. No, he swam across the Esk River in his haste with speed to reach the Netherby Hall. Now, next, I'll read out the third stanza. So boldly he entered the Netherby Hall among bride's men and kinsmen and brothers and all. Then spoke the bride's father, his hand on his sword. For the poor craven bridegroom said never a word. Oh, come ye in peace here, or come ye in war, or to dance at our bridal, young Lord Lochinvar. Now, next, when Lochinvar entered Netherby Hall, the bride's father questioned Lochinvar with his hand on his sword, whether he came there in peace or to fight. The bridegroom stood quietly. Bridegroom is what? The boy who is getting married to Ellen. That boy was standing. The bridegroom stood quietly without uttering a word. This shows that the bridegroom was a coward. Opposite of coward is brave. Okay, now I'll read a fourth stanza. I long would your daughter my suit you denied. Love swells like the Solway, but ebbs like its tide. And now am I come with this lost love of mine to lead but one measure, drink one cup of wine. There are maidens in Scotland more lovely by far that would gladly be bride to the young Lochinvar. Now, Lochinvar says that he had wanted to marry Ellen, but her father did not agree to the proposal. The love he had for Ellen, which swelled like Solway, so Solway in is a river, ebbed like its tide. See, his love, no, it became more and more on Ellen, but when marriage with other boy they are arranged, then what happened? No, it has become very low. That love became very low. The tides, the moon day, full moon day, the tides in the river it will raise to a great height and fall. The other days and all, that the pressure will be less and then it will not raise to the great height. Like that, he says comparison. His love with Ellen, it became more and more every day. But when she's getting married to the other boy, what happened? No, it went down. The law went down. Who says? Lochinvar says this to her father. Now, after seeing Ellen's marriage arrangements, his love became weak and declined. Now he says he came to attend the wedding, dance once with her, and drink one cup of wine. He said that there were so many maidens in Scotland who wished to become his bride. See what he is giving. There so many girls are there to getting. They are waiting for me to get married. But so I'll see to those girls. I'm not worried about Ellen. So he is making the Ellen's father to believe that he has come only to attend the marriage, dance once, lost a chance with Ellen, and drink cup of wine, and then he will move away. He is not worrying about Ellen's, he said. Hence, he speaks in that careless manner. How he speaks is a, no, I don't care for your daughter. So, very careless manner he speaks. Now, next I'll proceed to the fifth stanza. The bride kissed the goblet, the knight took it up, he coughed of the wine, and he threw down the cup. She looked down to blush, and she looked up to sigh, with a smile on her lips and a tear in her eyes. He took her soft hand ere her mother could bar. Now tread we a measure, said young Lochinvar. Now next year, Ellen, I'll explain. Ellen, the bride kissed the goblet of wine, that glass, the wine in it, which he drank. I mean, Lochinvar, he took that and then he drank. And she blushed. She felt shy and happy also and sighed. Sighed means what? She gave a long breath while looking at him with a smile on her lips and a tears. Tear means what? Kanniru, they'll tell, no? Kannada? In her eye, thus expressing her love towards Lochinvar. Seeing this, the bride's mother became anxious and her father became very angry. What is this doing? This girl, my daughter, is doing something, and then Lokin were also reacting. What's going on? Like that, they were much worried. Who? Parents. Now I'll proceed to the next stanza. So stately his form, and so lovely her face, that never a hall such a gallard did grace, while her mother did fret, and her father did fume, and the bridegroom stood danglingly his bonnet and plume, and the bridemaidens whispered, "'Twere better by far to have matched our fair cousins with young Lochinvar." Lochinvar was so majestic and Ellen was so lovely that everyone stood lost in admiration. The bride's parents became angry on their daughter. Here, the bridegroom, that is, who is getting married to Ellen, that is a boy who is going to marry, stood silently holding his hat and feather. He did not show any reaction. The something is going on between Ellen, that is fiancé. I mean, he's going to get married a girl, and then one strange man has come, Lochinvar, and between them something they are doing, and then he is not at all caring, simply standing. All the bridemaidens whispered amongst themselves that it would have been better if Ellen had married Lochinvar. See, her cousins and some of her relatives and all, they are gossiping and then whispering. See, if Helen gets married to Lochinvar, that only will be good because she is beautiful and the girl is very beautiful and the boy is very handsome. Really, both a match is made in heaven. All are praising, but they are keeping quiet and whispering. That's all. Whispering means what? Pisugutodo. Softly they are discussing. Now, next stanza I'll explain. That is, one touch to her hand and one's word in her ear. When they reached the hall door and the charger stood near, so light to the croup, the fair lady he swung, so light to the saddle before her he sprung. She is one, we are gone. Over bank, bush, and scar, they all have fleet steeds that follow, quoth young Lochinvar. And the next, while I'll explain, while dancing, Lochinvar very cleverly brought her near the door, main door of that Netherby hall, where his faithful horse was standing. With just a touch and a quick word, he conveyed his plan to Ellen very slowly near the eyes, and lifted her and placed her on his horses. Then himself jumped onto the horse and galloped away, never to be seen again. How he escaped. Last stanza. I'll explain. I'll read out. There was mounting among gracemen of the Netherby clan, Forsters, Fenwicks, and Musgraves. They rode and they ran. There was racing and chasing and Canopy Lee, but the lost bride of Netherby never did they see. So daring in love and so dauntless in war, have ye ever heard of gallant like young Lochinvar? There was much confusion and uproar after Lochinvar carried away Ellen. All who gathered in the wedding hall to got on to their horses rode, while others ran barefoot. Barefoot means ran on their foot. ಬರಿಗಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡುವುದು. Okay. They raced on horses with whatever weapon they found in the hall, but could never find brave Lochinvar and beautiful Ellen again. Here in this poem, that's all the end of this poem, children. Here in this poem, rhyming verse, you can see more rhyming words are given. See that I will read out, then you can understand. So in the end of the each stanza, I mean line, rhyming words are there. I will read once. West, number one, west, best, nest. Second, none, alone, done. Third, war, Lochinvar, war, bar. Fourth, gate, late, mate. Fifth, hall, all, ball. Sixth, sword, word, fold. Seventh, denied, tied, wide. Eighth, mine, wine, dine. Ninth, up, cup, pub. 10th, sigh, I, why. 11th, face, grace, ways. 12th, fume, plume, room. 13th, year, near, here. 14th, swung, sprung, lung. 15th, clan, ran, man. 16th, lay, see, mean. Now, now I have come to an end. Now I will read the glossary, children. Broadsword, a battle sword with a broad double-edged blade. Dauntless means fearless. Lochinvar is a dauntless knight. That means he was a fearless soldier. Knight, a man of high social position, trained to fight as a soldier on horse, bedewed. Stayed, stopped, break, a ticket. Ford, a shallow point where the river can be crossed on foot, alighted, got down. Now, next, I have given the poem is there. Okay, now next, I'll proceed the poem. Summary I have given, children. I have explained also. No, I hope that you all understood with the stanza. I explained each stanza. Got it? Now I'll give you a few questions. Number one, describe the coming of Lochinvar from the west. Second, What difficulties does he brave on the way to Netherby Hall? Third, what does Scott say about the Esk River? Fourth, how does Scott Scott means here the poet name. Okay. Scott describes the bridegroom. Now, one more thing I would like to tell you, children, that is this poem, Lochinvar, the classical English. It is there for memorization, children. Now, four stanzas you have to learn by heart. Think over, is it possible? Because it is in the classical form, you know, very, very difficult. Four stanzas you should learn. Learning is okay. Writing also very important in the exam and all. You, if you commit any mistakes and all, spellings and all, so many technical words are there, hard words are there. So, totally in a SSLC examination, I'll tell you, children, only three poems are there for memorization, 4 marks. I'll give you idea, simple idea, easy idea. Already you have learned Vachana, very, very simple form, very, very simple form, simplest. You have learned, okay. Now, next, one more. Next, I will teach you about poison tree. Poison tree, only four stanzas are there, repeated words are there. So, what you should do is you learn only two poems memorization by heart. Number one, Vachana. The next one is poison tree. Lochinvar, you learn the summary enough. Don't learn by heart, it's very difficult. Four stanzas. Instead of that, you learn summary, because in the examination they will ask you the summary and 2 marks questions, MCQ questions, 4 marks questions. So be thorough in Lochinvar, repeated questions they'll ask you. So learn the summary and question answer. You need not learn. And why I told you that to learn only two poems memorization. Listen carefully. If they ask you Vachana, two poems only, choice they'll give you. Vachana and Lochinvar. Then which you'll write for 4 marks? Vachana. Easy. If you write Vachana, they'll give 4 marks. Okay, the choice is in your hand. Now, next one, they might ask you not Vachana, poison tree and Lochinvar. Which you will write? You will write poison tree. Is it clear? So, Lochinvar in between the Vachanas are with the poison tree. So, you need not learn Lochinvar by heart memorization. So, before reading this, listening to this, please once you read the poem Lochinvar and learn the summary, children. So now I'll conclude, this way. And thank you for listening. And next class I will meet you with another interesting prose or poem. Thank you.